G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Tuesday, the 12th of January 2021, and the time here is 08:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Folks, this video is going to be slightly different than normal. I am going to talk, but I won't be doing any sponsors or anything like that today, and the reason being because there's so much going on that I just wanted this to be a brief video sort of thing, but straight to the point. I'm going to say the Lord's Prayer first, folks. So let's do that because, and I'll explain. So let's say this together. And try and say the words or listen to the words because it's important at the moment, okay? The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Excuse me. All right, look, the reason I did that was to just kind of focus a little bit differently than normal. Because look, if you aren't paying attention to what's going on at the moment, then God help you. And look, the other day I made this prediction that Trump would bring in the Insurrection Act on Sunday night. Well, that obviously didn't happen. And I think I did say it might be Sunday. But look, anyway, regardless, we have to hope, and I mean we have to hope, that he's going to bring it in, folks. Because let's go to the other alternative if you haven't even thought of it. Biden gets into power. Sorry. Trump just leaves office, sails off into the sunset. What does that tell us? Well, for one, it tells us that basically Trump's last 4 years have been a complete lie, because apparently he was in with the army. The main reason he ran was because military backers backed him, etc., etc. Has he gotten too big for his own boots? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. So look, if Trump just swans off into the sunset, then all of us, and I mean all of us, need to be absolutely dead set crapping ourselves, because that would mean that the military, the US military, has completely capitulated and is now standing with Biden and the other clowns. Think about that. I don't see that. Oh, look, I hope not. What I want to see is, look, they just took down Parler. Literally just took it down. Gone. So just based on the fact that they're getting rid of somebody's free speech in the US, there's no two ways about the voter fraud. Everyone knows that it's real. So what are we left with then? If the military is still backing Trump, which I hope they are, then Trump will bring in the Insurrection Act, which will mean martial law, etc., etc. And what that would mean, and once again, which states? You're going to have the loopies going crazy in New York and bloody California, North Carolina, wherever it's a massively blue state. But then in the other regard, you're going to have a lot of loopies going crazy in the red states because they're so, yay, yeah, let's go, let's get them sort of thing, then they've got to try and taper that enthusiasm. So look, it's a perilous journey at the moment, isn't it? I don't see any way out of this, and I told you that before. We don't get out of January without, and there's already been one massive inflection, which was the vote the other night. So we're heading for the second major inflection. Now, today in the US is Monday, the 11th, and we're into the 12th here in Australia. So that leaves, now, thinking logically, that leaves, is it 8 days until the election? It's got to be held, the inauguration's got to be on the 19th, isn't it? 20th? So those days are just whittling away. Now, I will say one thing about these guys that have gotten rid of Parler and all free speech, etc. It must be the best thing to have happened to Donald Trump, because now he can do whatever he wants, because no one's paying attention to what he's doing, which is kind of ironic, because if they're not, you don't know where he is, you can't get any news about him, so he could literally be going around the country organising everything at the moment. I heard something yesterday that he was in Texas. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, because there's no pictures, there's no news, no nothing. But I would think, based on a military plan, then these people will be basing it on like a 5-day thing, I'm guessing. I thought that would have been Sunday to Friday sort of thing, but who knows? The only thing I know is that there is no way out of this now. And for all of you people who are sitting there thinking to yourselves, oh yeah, we're going to be okay. You're not. Because if Trump does swan off into the sunset, which we all hope he doesn't, then the other thing we've all got to be aware of is the fact that if Biden gets in power, where does this stop? Do they start arresting, Rudy Giuliani? Because they would be massively emboldened to do that, and they would have no recourse from any, like the majority, not the majority, but a vast amount of people would be, calling for his head, guillotine, etc. That's where they will go. They're socialist Marxists, folks. Socialist Marxists. So that's what they do. I'm going to go through a few people. Stalin, Hitler, Franco, Castro, Jinping or CCP, Kaczynski in Poland, that was his name. I can't remember his name, but you have all these examples. Mao Zedong, Pol Pot. What was the first thing they did in all of those countries? What was the first thing they did? And you think it's going to be guns. It's not. They didn't take everyone's guns. They took over the newspapers. Every single country. What was the only country that figured out how to beat that sort of problem? Guess which country it was? The US. And guess who it was that helped beat that? Benjamin Franklin, because he owned a heap of printing presses. And I've read up about it, and it was actually quite well done the way they did it, because they were told that they couldn't print anything by the king or by the British. That was basically based on insurrection, i.e. revolution, etc. And, there was nothing to be patriotic. They couldn't print anything patriotic. So Benjamin Franklin set up this system of printing presses around about from Philadelphia out. And he would do blind copies, or, in those days, the printing presses, etc. And then he would give one to a guy on a horse who would ride 2 hours in the night to another guy who would ride 2 hours, who would ride 2 hours. Now, remember, there wasn't a lot of people back then, but they made sure that everyone who wanted to read that paper got it. Pretty clever, eh? So it kind of makes me laugh. Can I just say this, right? This makes me laugh in some respects. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, the regular ones, they're all owned by lefties. So what did you think was going to happen? I've said this all along. To all of you people who are astounded, why? What did you think was going to happen? Did you think they were just going to let you do whatever you wanted on their platforms, which are leftists? Come on. And can I just say to the people who invented Parler, they went and put it on Amazon. Come on. Really? You couldn't give it to a secure server company, somewhere. I'm sure there's somewhere. It just astounds me how dumb these people are, and how dumb they actually think that, I don't know why I'm still on YouTube. I haven't got a clue. I think a lot of it's got to do with the fact that I don't put up stupid, if people want to watch me, they watch me. I know my viewing's capped at 3,000. If you go through my videos, just about every single one is 3,000. Do I care? No. Do more people see it than, yeah, of course they do. Am I in it for the numbers? No. Am I in it for the money? Definitely not. So I just don't understand why people who have backed themselves on YouTube, etc., expecting money and then lose it, are all like, oh my God, how dare they do that to me? And look, there is an argument for that, but Jesus, what were you expecting, guys? Come on. So anyway, that makes me laugh. So look, here we are. We're at that point now where there is no out of this. There is no out. It's only going to get worse. And even if it gets better for a little while, it's going to get a hell of a lot worse after that. Because I'll go through those guys again. Stalin, Hitler, etc., etc. What did they do? Stalin brought in massive farming, Yay, everyone can eat. Hitler brought in massive industrial works. Yay, everyone can work. And then what did they do? They started killing everybody. Anyone who was a dissenter, straight to the gulags or the death zones or whatever the concentration camps, or just got a straight bullet in the head, wiped out whole families, the lot. Is that going to happen now? I'd like to think not, but I know this much. If I lived in America and I was a Trump supporter, I would be driving to Texas, Arizona, anywhere that is a red state, Montana, like I would be getting the hell out of California, New York. But hey, listen, if you want to stand your ground, I fully support you and I salute you for that. But don't forget, they are going to come for you. They are. There's no two ways about that now. Unless Trump brings in the Insurrection Act. And in counting days, if you're a logical thinking person, which I hope you are because you watch this show, then there is literally 1 day, maybe 2 left. Or Trump goes for the big grand finale, waits for the day of the inauguration, and then boom. But look, that I just don't see that. Excuse me. I can't see that happen. That's just crazy thinking, really. To be able to do that would just be too hard. The amount of planning that would have to go into that, geez, you're better off chopping the head off the chicken when it's not expecting it or breaking its neck. So let's get down to the, let's forget about that for a minute and let's get down to the most important thing, which is you, us. You need to make sure at the moment that you have everything you need because, and especially if you're in America, I'm pretty sure that if they're going to bring in the Insurrection Act, Trump is actually going to shut down the power. Why would he do that? Well, that kind of forces the people's hands a little bit, doesn't makes everything a little bit more uncomfortable for the socialist, because you can't have people in comfort when you've got a massive insurrection going on. So there would be, I would think, 4 or 5 days of no power. Now that's going to be very hard, but I'm pretty sure Trump's going to come out and say there will be no power for the next 5 days or 4 days or whatever. So as of, because don't forget, a lot of these people, a lot of these things are relying on power. Power stations, etc., which I know that sounds funny to say that, but you don't want the socialists getting hold of them because that's where we're at. Train services, all these things. You don't want people travelling around while you've got a major insurrection on. Borders will be shut. One of the first things you'll hear is that the northern and southern borders are shut. Bang. As soon as you hear that, or as soon as you hear that the military has taken over the borders, that's either good or bad. Good or bad. Hey, and listen, if you don't want any part of this, get in a car, go to Mexico, or get in a car and go to bloody Canada. Because as soon as the border's shut, the airport's shut at the same time. And like I said, who knows whether they're good or bad. So, like I said, let's get back to you guys. You need at least as a minimum 4 to 5 days water. Can't live without water. And you need to survive on 4 to 5 days at the bare minimum. 4 to 5 days food. Now you might be sitting there thinking, well, I've got probably that much. Well, if you've got to think about it, I know for a fact I've got 4 or 5 days food, so I don't need to think about it. But if you're sitting there going, then you haven't got enough. Because if I said 4 or 5 days and you went, oh, that's nothing, then you know you've got enough. If I said 3 months, I'd probably be going, maybe need to top that and that and that up. Do you get the point? You need to make sure that your car is full service, like petrol full, done, bang. Okay? Because as soon as Trump announces Insurrection Act or, brings in the military, then all petrol stations are shut automatically, bang. Everything's shut, bang, automatically, except for probably pharmacies so people can get their drugs or medication. So there you go. Have you got it? Have you got your meds? I went and got mine on Saturday, bulked out, maxed out on the credit card just to get everything. But as I said, 4 or 5 days. I've got 4 or 5 weeks. And you can do it if you put your mind to it. But you need to do it today. Today. It should be the title of this video, Today, Now. By the way, just so all of you are aware, I was on Parler. I got an account on Parler, Prep Aussie, and I also now have an account on BitChute, Prep Aussie, because people are saying, what happens to you if you get off this thing? And I went, the one last thing that I want to say to you all, working on the Benjamin Franklin model, right? If you're in America, or even if you're in Australia, if you have a UHF channel, a walkie-talkie that can reach worldwide, in the comments section underneath the video today, please put your UHF channel down so people can contact you. Even if you want to catch each other, please put which state you're in. New South Wales, Australia, Queensland, Australia, Kentucky, America, Texas, America. Please, that's important because you might be 2 miles from someone that can help you. Okay? That's really important. I don't have a UHF. I have a particular reason for that. I will, but I haven't at the moment. Anyway, look, I won't go into it. But look, if you have a UHF, it's now time for you to start using your Benjamin Franklin thinking. How do I get communications? Because UHF will still be available. It will. Honestly, it will. It might black out for a little minute, but if you're a pretty ingenious person and you know how to use batteries, etc., to get direct current into your UHF or CB radio, then you will be able to do it. And don't forget, if you have a CB radio in your car, you can just about broadcast to the world from most places. If someone's got a really strong signal from America or just down the road from you, they've got a really big set in their car, then you can talk to each other. So please, I'm begging you, that's how you're now going to have to start communicating. And can you please pass that message on to everybody else? Because that's how important this is. Right, I'll leave it there, folks. Don't think that we don't think of you people in America at the moment, because I've got direct family there. And I've been begging them for months to get out, and they're all older, etc. So anyway, say a prayer for everybody, folks. Let's say the prayers. Once again, you are not going to believe today's Bible verse. As I said, I click on it 2 seconds before I read it. I just opened this up now. You wait till you see it. I called on the Lord in distress. The Lord answered me and set me in a broad place. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Unbelievable. I'm going to read it again. I called on the Lord in distress, which I have done. The Lord answered me and set me in a broad place. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do to me if I have God or the Lord by my side? Basically. Okay, and let's do this bad boy one more time, eh? The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Okay, you have my thoughts, you have my prayers, and most of all, you have my love. And you have my backing. Okay, that's from an Aussie patriot to all the American patriots out there who are going to be severely tested. We're all going to be tested. Let's not forget that. We're all going to be tested. I'll say that again. We're all going to be tested now, which is why that Bible verse is pretty prevalent. Anyway, God bless. Prep out.